Hey, what's up? Cheers, guys. I hope you are either having or on your way to having a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I hope wherever you are, you're not trapped in the ridiculous fucking heat wave we are having right now. Friggin' 37 and 43 with the humidex over the past couple of days. Friggin' ridiculous. On a side note, I chose the hottest day in recorded everness to try and learn how to use a forklift outside, because I'm brilliant. So hopefully you guys are having better weeks and weekends than me so far. Before I get on with the topic of tonight's video, I do have to address something very, very, not personal, obviously, because I'm not a chick, but something very, very disturbing that was brought to my attention in the YWC. I was talking to Heather, Nutty Rock chick, a couple days ago, and we were trading back and forth various things. Hey, do you watch this person on YouTube? Do you watch that person on YouTube? And, you know, and I thank her for, if she's watching, I hope she sees this. Heather, thank you for passing me on new people that I had never seen before, and I hope I passed some to you as well. She sent me the link to a video that I said I was going to watch, and I'm sorry I didn't end up watching it, because the title of it alone is "There is a lack of intelligent female shooters in the YWC." Now, I'm not a judgmental person. I try not to be a sexist person, and etc., etc., etc. And I try not to come up with things that are going to offend too many people. This is fucking bullshit, isn't it? Sexism is bullshit. First and foremost, the fact that you're actually going to go and do that in a public forum where you know it's just designed for them to get attention, just designed for them to get reactions and views and da 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 da. I'll tell you something. I'll compare being a wrestling fan to the scouting movement for a second. I, for a long, long, long time, was involved is the word I'm looking for in Scouts Canada when it was majority when it was a male thing, and you know the Girl Guides did their thing over there or whatever. I was an advisor to one of the first youth groups in my particular city of Brampton that was indeed co-ed. Very, very interesting experience, because for me it didn't matter. For me it was, you know, anybody who wants to participate can participate, and the more the merrier type thing. But I noticed something over time, and when I went to this group, little sister of my buddy and two cousins of my buddy at the time were both in it, and they knew me, and that was cool for them, I guess. But it's one of those things where, because it's been a boy thing for so long, the girls enjoy it more, and the girls enjoy it better, and the girls are better at it. I'll say the same thing for wrestling fans, and yeah, I really don't know if you care about that anecdote from my personal life at all, but it gives context to what I'm about to say. It's I have a hard time dealing with sexist situations, because when you get something that's stereotypically a male thing, like the scouting thing was back in the day for me, and like wrestling, which is so, you know, male and testosterone and I don't know personally a lot of females that are wrestling fans. It's true, most of the fans that I know are guys, but I'll tell you something, the ones you do find, the ones that you do meet, are 10 times more excited about it, and 99 times out of 100 more knowledgeable than some of us are. So, I'm not even going to read out the guy's name who did this. You can look it up if you really want to. I am saying right now, I have the video saved to my computer, and I'm refusing to watch it. But if you want to search it, I guess it's there, whatever. So, in that spirit, there is a shout out right now to 5 lovely ladies on 4 channels that I am subscribed to. Hannah Banana Bob, Aniddle, Nutty Rock Chick, the one who brought this to my attention in the first place, and Kristen and Dee from Black Hat Feline. You guys are all fucking awesome. I'd love to find more female shooters just to help me prove my point. Anybody that knows any other good female shooters, shoot them down in the box right there. I would love to see them. You guys are all awesome, heartfelt from me. That guy's full of shit, and we're gonna move on. Alright, that was a big, big blather from me, wasn't it? This week in wrestling has been one of the most exciting weeks we've had in wrestling in a long time. I went over it in my my Money in the Bank review. I went over it in the Raw review this week, but it bears going over again. There's so many right things happening in the WWE, and I've just got them listed Most of them I can list like person by person, and that's basically what I've done here. I've gone back to the clipboard, guys. It's back, because the notepad program on my computer is being shitty right now. But I've got a few different things that are going on in WWE that I think are fucking awesome. I think that will only gain steam in the long run, won't they? So here we go. First of all, The Miz and Alex Riley. These guys have a great fucking feud. Following in the steps of somebody like Daniel Bryan, A-Rai is getting a great push from The Miz. Come to the point now where two things need to happen. Alex Riley needs to branch off and have a rivalry with somebody else. My vote goes to Dolph Ziggler, because I think they would have amazing matches. And Miz needs to turn face and get back into a main event scene that is mostly heels right now, isn't it? Miz turns face, goes against Del Rio. Miz turns face and goes against R-Truth. Miz turns face and goes against CM Punk, I would like to see, but there's a whole lot of other things I'd like to see happen with Punk first, so let's do that. The problem with Miz and Alex Riley is these guys have amazing matches, but they're being typecast as, hey, it's another Monday night, we're going to watch the Miz and Alex Riley fight again. It's great, but too much of a great thing. It's like cake. It makes you fat, and then you regret it the next morning. Over on SmackDown, they have completed the split up of the core by breaking up Justin Gabriel and Heath Slater. Now, I didn't like the fact that Heath Slater made it past NXT, because I find him annoying as fuck. I didn't like the fact that they made Slater and Gabriel, out of everybody that you could have gotten out of the Nexus in the core, Slater and Gabriel did not complement each other very well, did they? I know I said when they were a tag team they worked alright, but every team has a Michaels and a Jannetty, and I think Gabriel needs to go up so Heath Slater can Heath Slater can Jannetty himself out of the WWE. That's what needs to happen there. But I mean, Wade Barrett has gone back. Whatever Wade Barrett does from here, he's going to dominate the main event scene in one way or another, isn't he? Really. Ezekiel Jackson has skyrocketed. Ezekiel Jackson had grabbed up the Intercontinental title. He's going to dominate the mid-card division for a while, and that's just where he needs to be. I don't see Ezekiel Jackson going to the main event, but at the same time, not going to the main event doesn't hurt him that much. And like I said, since Nexus, since NXT started, the one that I was excited about was Justin Gabriel, and as long as he was stuck in a tag team with Heath Slater, he wasn't going to get to shine the way I would personally like to see him shine. Personally. So the final abolishment of the core is awesome. They've almost done the same thing with the Nexus, with CM Punk doing what he's doing now, Mason Ryan being away with injury, everybody else sort of got weeded out back to FCW, and they've broken them down to a tag team of McGillicuddy and Otunga, which I don't mind them hanging around so much, because if it was a choice between Otunga and McGillicuddy and Slater and Gabriel, I'm glad it was the Nexus tag team that still stayed together. Does that make any sense at all? Not that there's much of a tag team division anyway, but, you know, we need somebody to carry the belts until we decide that we're going to have a tag team division again. Started up tonight. There were hints of this right before Money in the Bank, and in Money in the Bank, and it finally came to a head tonight. The Sheamus-Wade Barrett rivalry. Now, a lot of you are going to be surprised. They've been watching my videos over the past long while. Side note, I've almost been doing these a year now. Isn't that exciting? My very first video on this channel was a review of last year's SummerSlam, so we're coming up on a year, guys, so this is a lot of fun. I'm up to 45 subscribers now, which I couldn't even have thought of. I figured, you know, in 5 years I'd have 5 subscribers. You guys have bumped me up to 45. You guys are fucking amazing. That's a side note. But, anybody that's watching my videos knows I'm not a really big fan of Sheamus, and I'm not a really big fan of Wade Barrett. But in the back of my head, I was like, I want to see these guys fight. With no bullshit, I want to see, you know, preferably in a street fight, preferably in something where there's not very many rules and not very much opportunity for bullshit. But I would love to see these guys fight. And they did tonight on SmackDown, and it's bizarre to watch them fight right now, considering where the two of them are right now. Sheamus almost shows signs of wanting to be a face, but at the same time, he's really evil, brutal, dominant guy, but he shows these glimpses of wanting to be face, you know, especially after his match tonight on SmackDown. he's in a funny place right now because he's stuck himself in between the Orton and Christian scenario. And I mean, you figure if he was going to turn face, he would have taken out Christian. If he was going to turn heel, he would have helped Christian take out Orton. But he took out both of them, so it's left him in this really, really neutral place where only somebody that's strong, like a Sheamus or a Big Show or a Kane, or if you want to go over to SmackDown, talk about guys like Matt Morgan, Crimson, Samoa Joe, whatever. They're so indifferent to who they're destroying. They defy the labels of face or heel, and that's sort of the scenario where Sheamus is at. Now Wade Barrett, on the other hand, is definitely heel. He's definitely cocky. He's definitely an overgrown, somebody like Jericho or The Miz or something like that. But his entire persona, his entire, reason for being in WWE was that he was the guy that shot off his mouth and then hid behind a big group. He was the leader. He was the one that sent other sacrificial soldiers out to fight his battles for him. And now he's finally on his own. And we're in a very much of a holding pattern with him too, to see where does he go from here. Does he just, go and form another tag team with somebody else? Does he form another group with somebody else? Or does he actually develop into something? So you got two guys that are really, really, really crucially and almost identically in a developing or a transitioning portion of their career, and now is the time that they choose to go against each other. The thing is, the crowd doesn't know how to feel about it. They don't know how to feel about Sheamus. They don't know how to feel about Wade Barrett, so they don't know how to feel about the match. You can go into these matches totally neutral, which doesn't happen a lot, which makes it awesome when it does. It means you can just appreciate the match for what it is. I've rambled way too long on that one. Daniel freaking Bryan. Let's look at Daniel Bryan for a second. Had to put up with The Miz in NXT. Had to put up with Michael Cole in NXT. Had to put up with immediate elimination in NXT. When he got to Raw, put up with shit from The Miz, put up with shit from Michael Cole, got the crap kicked out of him by the entire Nexus, and was gone for a while until Cena brought him back and all that bullshit. As soon as they let him go out on his own, what do? They stick him in a bullshit storyline with the Divas, with the Bellas, and fucking bullshit. And apparently, according to kayfabe, according to storyline, he's banging Gail Kim instead of the Bella Twins. Woo, that's some good wrestling right there. But they've pulled him out of obscurity in the past couple of months, the past couple of weeks. With this developing rivalry with Cody Rhodes, with this developing rivalry with Rhodes and DiBiase, with the occasional teaming with Sin Cara. I'm glad they didn't make them into a solid every week tag team, because that would not have worked, in my personal opinion. But the occasional teaming with Sin Cara, the sort of, helping Sin Cara out, bringing Sin Cara up, as well as going up against two guys that have already done a good job of establishing themselves with Rhodes and DiBiase, brought him right to the brink of, okay, this guy needs to break through one thing, and he'll be right there. And he did that this past Sunday at Money in the Bank. That, everybody brought Money in the Bank to see Punk and what happened with Punk. But I don't think anything surprised anybody. Anybody marked out anything. I don't know if people marked out any more for a surprise than they did with Daniel Bryan winning Money in the Bank, did they? Cap it off with what he did tonight. Came down, told off Michael Cole, finally, long overdue, and announced that he will not be cashing in his Money in the Bank until WrestleMania, when he will take on whoever the champ is. So many great things about this one move. Gives us one more thing to look forward to at WrestleMania. Makes it so that WrestleMania isn't totally made up of the ones that look like superstars. Triple H looks like a superstar. Cena looks like a superstar. Shawn Michaels, John Morrison, The Miz look like superstars. Daniel Bryan looks like a wrestler, and he's going to be a big part of WrestleMania. That is a big corner for WWE to turn. As well, it makes Bryan look ridiculously strong, because he's going to break the pattern of every other person that has won the Money in the Bank and waited for a champion to be beat down, injured, unconscious, whatever, and just snuck in and grabbed the belt. It gives more credibility to WrestleMania. It gives more credibility to the Money in the Bank title, as temporary as it is, and it gives a fuckload of credit to Daniel Bryan. I will be the first to admit I have not watched a single ROH show in my life. I need to do it. I haven't gotten around to it. That is my admission. That is my loss. I had not seen Daniel Bryan until Daniel Bryan debuted in the WWE. And when Daniel Bryan came to the WWE, I didn't think much of him. I will freely admit that. I was fucking wrong. I could not be any more wrong about a guy like Daniel Bryan. The more I watch him, and I know people hate when I say this, the more I watch him, the more he reminds me of Chris Benoit and why I liked watching Chris Benoit matches. Anybody that wants to respond to that can, but I don't really want to hear about how Chris Benoit's life ended and what he did to his family. I'm strictly talking about what he did in the ring. Daniel Bryan takes me back to that. I would love to see somebody come along that's as good as Daniel Bryan, so we can have this century or this era's Benoit Angle matches. That is what I wish for Daniel Bryan. Somebody as good as him to come along to show how good he really is. I hope somebody that can do that is the champion by the time WrestleMania comes around. Now, the only thing that's wrong with that is, are we going to be sick of hearing about it by the time WrestleMania comes around? Because I'm sorry, during Raw, we were trying to establish a new WWE champion, and everything the commentators, everything the promos talked about were WrestleMania. What's John Cena doing at WrestleMania? What's The Rock doing at WrestleMania? Cena better not be fired, because then the match with The Rock will be done at WrestleMania. Da 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 da. And it's all over Twitter, and they keep on bringing the Twitter shit onto Raw, which is fine. Use social media, whatever. But I really, really hope, because Rock and Cena are figurehead guys, it makes sense. They are the flashy guys. They are the main page guys. Those are the guys that are on your posters and your cups, etc., 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 as CM Punk would say. So it makes sense that they would overpush them. Now, I hope they don't overpush Daniel Bryan on his way to Mania. That is my only deal there. Now, Christian and Orton's rivalry. Christian and Orton's rivalry could not be written any better. All the matches have involved bullshit, is what people say. What they don't realize is the bullshit is what makes Christian a great heel. Because it's easy to turn off when somebody's just talking bullshit. It's harder to turn off when somebody you really hate is saying something you know is true. When Christian lost the title, it was 2 or 3 days after he won at the pay-per-view, and he could say, "Oh well, I was worn out from the pay-per-view, and this guy took advantage of me being worn out and won the title." When he beat or when Orton beat him with his foot under the rope, he sat there and he said he was screwed. Da 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 da. Now that just sounds like whining, but at the end of the day, you know, if you look in the rule book, you know that he's right. If the foot is under the rope, you're not supposed to count the pin. People don't like the way he won the world title at Money in the Bank, because he got disqualified, and it's you know what, again, he can say, look, the rules for this match said this, so I'm right. So it's not Christian being a pain in the ass, it's everybody hating to admit that he's right. And it's brilliant, and it makes you fume more and more and more and more and more. Now, Orton is the only guy he could do this against, really, isn't it? Orton is one of those guys. He's gone from being heel to being face, and never lost any of the heelish tendencies. Like, he won't hesitate to rip your head off. He won't hesitate to kick you in the face and end your career, and da-da-da. He's being very much that Austin face, whereby he's only a face because the crowd loves him. He's not a face because he's a good guy. And it's a big distinction, and guys like Orton, guys like Punk, are making that third category. It's like, you got the heels, you got the faces, and then you got the guys you love because they're not really, they're not really either. It's like Super Cena is the good guy. He's the face. He's the one that's going to go and do every right thing. Orton isn't Cena. As much as everybody in the YWC seems to have a hard-on for comparing the two of them, they're not the same. I'm sorry, that's not a popular opinion. The box is down there for a reason. Orton and Cena are not the same. Orton is the guy who will help you if it helps him. Orton is the guy that's going to go and look out for number one, and he might not totally step on your neck on the way there. Orton is the one who, right now, fans can see is fighting the good fight. Orton right now is considered a face because he's against a heel. If he was up against a face right now, he'd be considered a heel. He's that neutral, and he's reached that Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Austin, Rock level in his career where the people that love him will love him whether he's face or heel. So Christian, as good as he's doing with his heel turn, would not be doing it nearly as well as he is if he wasn't doing it with a guy like Randy Orton. That's all I'm going to say about that. How much more can we say about the Punk thing? Punk wins the match, drives Vince McMahon nuts, wants to make his point to Vince McMahon, makes it by leaving with the title. Could have stayed around and fought Alberto Del Rio and made that point twice, but no, kicks him in the face and leaves and sits there and kisses Vince McMahon goodbye in the process. Sits there at Raw. He's sitting at a baseball game, not even paying attention to Raw, tweeting while everybody else is watching a new world champion be crowned, or so we thought. He goes, and for those of you who haven't seen, go look it up, he goes and invades Comic-Con. Takes on Triple H, who's, the new head, and I'll get to that in a second. But, you know what, hey, I'm doing great, I'm doing fine. If your new so-called champion wants to come to Chicago for the real thing, you can do it. Triple H, ask Stephanie, she probably has my number. Fucking brilliant shit from Punk. Really, really badly. And everybody's saying, everybody wants this story to be over way too soon. It's like, how are they going to get the belt back? How are they going to get CM Punk back to the WWE? Who are they going to send after Punk to get the title? Da-da-da-da-da. Why do you want to rush it so much? Enjoy this, outside the box stuff. Yes, it's fucking storyline. Yes, it's not real. Yes, if he was actually invading Comic-Con and harassing Triple H and Stephanie, he would have been arrested and da-da-da. So we know it's not real, but enjoy it anyway. Jesus fucking Christ. But, with that being said, I will say the two people that I would love to see CM Punk go up against next. Mentioned earlier, Miz would be a minor suggestion. Everybody has rumored that at this Mania or next Mania, somehow they're going to have Punk versus Austin. I don't know how that's going to work. I'm not even sure how in one piece Austin is anymore, but it would be decent. It would draw numbers. It would draw, I would say, without debate, I think I think Austin Punk would draw a hell of a lot bigger numbers. At this point in the game where WWE is right now, it would draw bigger numbers than Cena and The Rock. If you disagree, boom, the box is down there, but I know which match I would rather see. The other one I would love to see Triple H. And might as well go and say Triple H coming out and announcing that Vince McMahon is done, more or less. It makes sense. Vince being done and Triple H sort of taking over as the figurehead of the company. There's not very much else Vince can do, is there? It's not a case of he's doing a bad job, but he's 66. Let him go home and hug his wife and kiss his grandkids and all that kind of thing. And people can only look at somebody for so long. If he was an actual in-ring competitor, we'd be saying about him the same things we say about Hogan and Flair and Piper and people like that. But because he's this vilified, larger-than-life, overbearing figure, we've accepted him for years and years and years. And that role will be taken by Triple H. I don't know whether it'll be Triple H adopting a Vince McMahon role or not, but we need somebody new to fill that void, and somebody that can actually react if the person that is running it needs to react physically. You can believe a hell of a lot more that Triple H is going to go and come down like the big boss man and make things right again than Vince McMahon, who's 63. I mean, right now, if we kept going and Vince McMahon was still in charge, eventually it would lead to CM Punk versus Vince McMahon. And I'm sorry, but that would be bullshit. It would either be Vince McMahon getting annihilated, or it would be CM Punk taking a lie down, which at this point, they can't do. They can't have CM Punk build up as much as he has and then lie down for Vince. It wouldn't make any sense. Now, eventually down the road, would I love to see Punk and Triple H? Maybe. But I'd rather, at this juncture, at this point, at this time, I'd rather see Triple H maneuver as the boss and try to do things that way. Which leads me to my final point of the evening. And if you're still with me at this point, I love you all, because I've rambled a lot, and I'm really tired, and I'm really burnt, and I'm really thirsty, so hold on a second. What I would love to see, responding to the rumors that WWE and ROH are actually having a joining of efforts and whatnot, I would love to see CM Punk return to ROH with the WWE title, wrestle in ROH for a while, defend the WWE title in ROH, and then after he's done a match in ROH, have Triple H walk out on the ROH stage and say, "That was great, you still have your title, congratulations, here's your next opponent." Triple H steps aside and announces the return of Chris Jericho. Oh yes, Y2J versus the Straight Edge Savior, done properly, could be Mania worthy. I think so. Oh yes. Yes, I do. Let's just pontificate on that for a moment. The possibilities, not even the match, just the mic work leading up to the match between those two would be amazing. And the match would sell. The match would sell up in the same area as Punk Austin. Up in the same area as, I don't know, anybody else you want to mention in recent memory. I think done properly, Punk and Y2J could outsell Michaels and Undertaker. Just with the role that this is on right now. If they caught it, if they strike while the iron's hot, I think this could be the big thing. Now, do I think it's ever going to happen? Probably not. It's in my head, which means it's probably not in anybody else's. But this has been Spaz's, oh fuck, let's call it the State of the WWE Address. Alright, subscribe up there, talk down there, let me know what you think, because I've said a lot. Start a conversation and I will talk to all of you guys later, probably Monday.